everyone, and welcome to this episode of an Ingenious You Mini. I am very pleased to be joined today by Dr. Darnell Parker, one of our professors in the Doctorate of Education in Educational Leadership program here at Bay Path University. We will provide a link to Dr. Parker's full bio in the show notes. But for now, Darnell, I am delighted to welcome you to the Ingenious You community.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't we jump right in? You've been teaching, you've been a part of the EDD program and in HELOS ever since the beginning, I believe. So tell us what your involvement is. What do you teach?
Sure. I was invited to teach in this wonderful program 3 years ago, and I teach our community of practice 730 and 731. It really helps the students hone in on their leadership skills, but also support them with their working career questions that they have, because they have to balance the life of a doctoral student as well with being full-time parents, working full-time, and just juggling all of life's issues.
So you're talking about the community of practice courses, and you are specifically assigned to the first year, which means you are working with a small group of students in their first year of the program. And I know you really function as somewhat of a mentor to these students. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Yeah. So how would your students describe you in terms of what they experience in your classroom, and what are you like as a faculty member?
Sure. So I would say, I will hope they would say I'm supportive, but also making sure that I'm holding them to a standard to make sure that they're completing their best and giving us their best. I push a lot with them, so I ask them to expand a lot more on their thoughts. It's difficult to talk about your own leadership style. And when you ask the student a question, tell me a little bit about yourself and what are the great aspects of your leadership, that can be challenging. So students know that anytime they throw something out there, I will say, how are you supporting that? How are you supporting it with evidence in your work, in your life, in the reading? And also I would say, they would probably say I'm a little overcritical on the writing piece. I think writing is an essential part of being a doctoral student. And I would say they would say I'm accessible. I meet with students even outside of class by Zoom, giving in the evening, because you never know when emergencies actually come up.
So tell us a little bit about your professional background. What do you do professionally? What are your professional interests and research interests that you might have?
Sure. So currently I'm the Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students at Wheaton College in Norton, Massachusetts. Prior to that, I was at Case Western Reserve University as the Senior Associate Vice President for Equity. And my work primarily works around supporting students through different developmental theories. Some people would say I am in charge of the whole student life aspect. That will be accurate, but also a strong collaboration with the academic affairs area as well. My research interest is in diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I did my research and my dissertation on how faculty engage with diversity at liberal arts colleges and how it impacts their work. We have a lot of information out there on how diversity impacts student development and success, but we do not have enough literature out there to support how it impacts faculty members. So DEI has been the core of my work since I started out in my social work degree at Syracuse University, all the way up to my doctoral degree at Widener University.
Well, I would agree. That is an area of focus that needs a lot more attention. So, and I know you bring that into your work with the students that you are engaged with at Bay Path. Now, what do you like about teaching in the EDD program, and what would you tell prospective students about this program and why they might consider enrolling in it?
Sure. So the one thing I like about teaching in this program is I learn a lot from our students. And I know some faculty will say, you know, the students are there to learn from them. I look at it as a two-way street, for the simple reason every class I go to, my students teach me something new about their field, their experiences, their leadership style. And I really enjoy that because it helps me reflect a lot more on my teaching style. In terms of if they're having some difficulty that day, then what's on the syllabi might not be the most important thing at that moment in time. So we try to be as flexible as possible with the program. And that's something for prospective students to understand. Doctoral work can be challenging, but it can also be rewarding. And it's okay to understand you're going to make mistakes. What I tell each COP, a completed dissertation is a good dissertation because they want it to be perfect. And I told them there will never, ever be a perfect dissertation. And that's what students need to keep in mind. It's all about working at your pace and really focusing on your development. Don't worry about the person next to you or the cohort before you, because at the end of the day, some people's journeys are different, and that's okay.
Very wise counsel indeed. So let me end. My final question is, what do you do for fun? When you are not working or teaching, what do you like to do to unwind?
I actually like to run or go golfing. As many people look at me and go, why golf is boring? Golfing actually gives you peace and it helps you focus. I don't think many people realize that. You have to really focus on where you're hitting the ball. And that helps me clear my mind a lot. And I use that as an analogy for how my leadership is. Taking the time to focus, reflect. Even though my wife said that's not fun, I think it's fun. So that's what I do for fun. And also spending as much time with my two boys. They're 11 and 9 years old. They keep me on my toes. And I believe family should always come first. So any free time I do have, I make sure I'm spending it with them.
And aren't they lucky? They're about to go into the teen years. So you want to spend as much time as you can with them now and going forward. So Darnell, thank you so much. We're really grateful for your engagement with our students, with the program. I know how impactful it is from hearing the stories from students. And we are grateful for your time today.
All right. Thank you.